Hey friends, here's a video to review how to order your decimals. So first thing you want to do is create your decimal place value chart. Remember, you could always turn your notebook to the side. Let me see, let me get my pen out. You could always turn your notebook to the side so that you then have your lines going straight up and down like this. And it's like a built-in place value chart for you. So if you need help, you could always do that and put your numbers in there. It should look like this. You have your tens, ones, those are your whole numbers. Then you have your decimal point here, your tenths, hundredths, and then thousands. We're only going to the thousands place in 5th grade. So you're going to put your number in the place value chart, making sure you line up that decimal point and anything that's going ahead of it or behind it. And then you want to compare your numbers. You start at the left and go to the right. All right, so let's practice a couple together. So order the decimals below from least to greatest. So first thing I'm going to do is make my place value chart. Let's do tens, ones. I'm just going to do a point for my decimal point. Tenths, hundredths. Wow, that is not beautiful. And then finally you have thousandths. All right, so let's look at our numbers. So we have 125 thousandths. So I have nothing in my ones place. Here's my decimal. I have 125 thousandths. All right, I'm gonna draw a line here so we can keep track of ourselves. All right, next I have 32 hundredths. So I have nothing in my ones place, decimal point, 32 hundredths. All right, I have 1 and 1/10, so I have 1, decimal point, 1/10. And then I have 46 thousandths, so I have nothing in the ones place. And 46 thousandths. All right, so what we want to do, a good idea would be to fill in, and I'm going to change my color here. It took me a minute to figure out how to do it. I'm going to fill in with those imaginary zeros, so I'm changing colors. Because remember, you can add as many zeros after the number. It doesn't change anything. All right, you can't add them within, but you could add them at the end. It doesn't really change anything. It's those imaginary zeros that just help us keep ourselves on track here. So let's see. Let's put them in order from least to greatest. That's really important too, to understand, are we going greatest to least or least to greatest? Here we want to go from small to big. So we want to find out what is the smallest number we have here. Well, let's look at our ones place first. So 0, 0, 1, and 0. This is going to be the biggest number because it already has one whole. None of the other ones have a whole. So I already know that 1 and 1/10 is going to be my greatest number. So I'm going to put it down here on the end. Next thing I have to do is go to my tenths place. Which one is the smallest number I see here? I have 1, 3, 1, and 0. So this is going to be my smallest number out of them all because it doesn't have any tenths. So I'm going to write it down here on the end here. I have 46 thousandths. All right, let's check. So now we're done with this one, done with this one. All right, so now I'm comparing these two. I have 125 thousandths and 32 hundredths. So this one has 1 in the tenths place, this one has 3 in the tenths place. So I can see already that even though this says 125 and this says 32, don't get trapped up in that. Remember, it's basically like the same thing as having 320 thousandths and 125 thousandths. What's smaller, 125 or 320? 125 is smaller. That's why we add those imaginary zeros, so that we can compare them while they look the same. 32 hundredths. Notice that I'm rewriting them the way that they're written in the original question. Even though I added those extra zeros during the problem, I'm going to rewrite them so they look exactly the same as I read them out originally written. All right, the reason I put my checkpoints is to make sure that I did each number. So I have my smallest number, 46 thousandths. Then I have my next smallest, 125 thousandths. Then I have 32 hundredths. Then I have 1 1/10. I put them in order from least to greatest. So don't forget, when you're ordering your decimals, you want to make your place value chart. If you want to add in, you want to put your numbers in the place value chart. If you want to add in your imaginary zeros, go ahead and do that. And then you want to compare your numbers working from left to right. Always start on this side and go this way.